We've made it extremely clear. We want to keep families together, and we want to secure the border and enforce our laws. Our government, because of a court ruling or a law, should not be forced to choose between keeping families together and securing the border and enforcing our laws. We should be able to do all of those, and that is the legislation that we're supporting and proposing. I want to get to the first Wednesday vote because I want to lean into that vote and do as well as we possibly can on that vote. And then if that doesn't succeed, then we'll cross that bridge. But the last thing I want to do is undercut a vote on what is a great consensus bill that we're bringing to the floor Wednesday. I think what we have here is the seeds of consensus that will be gotten to hopefully now, but if not later. The Supreme Court's going to rule on this issue. They're going to rule on DACA eventually. The past president, Obama, exceeded his authorities. We believe that he should not have been able to do this. And at the end of the day, this president, laid out a smart plan, very reasonable, his 4 pillars. And what this compromise does is address those 4 pillars on how to solve this problem. So I think, hopefully sooner rather than later, ultimately we're going to arrive on fixing this broken immigration system by addressing these 4 pillars, dealing with DACA in a smart way, going toward a merit-based immigration system, and securing the border, securing the rule of law.
Will anything move this week? And if not, can something like this...
Imagine if we do what the Democrats are suggesting, which is to tell the world, if you can just come to this country, we're not going to have closed borders. We should not have to be in a situation where we're saying separate families or secure the border. We should be able to keep families together and secure the border and enforce our laws. It is ridiculous to think that we have to choose between families staying together and securing our border and enforcing our laws. There's no place for this. She obviously should apologize. When we in this democracy are suggesting that because we disagree with people on political views, on policy views, on philosophical views, that we should resort to violence and harassment and intimidation, that's dangerous for our society. It's dangerous for our democracy. She should apologize, and there's just no place for that in our public discourse.
You said a couple of weeks ago, you said you want to keep...
We've got to be real careful about how we discuss our differences. The great part of America is that we can discuss our differences freely and openly. It's one of the things our founders set up. I mean, it's part of the First Amendment. But we also have a responsibility to make sure that as we're discussing our disagreements, we're not trying to incite others to violence. And that's, I think, where the real fine line needs to be. Nobody should be inciting harassment or violence of any sort just because we disagree with each other on issues.
Right.
Some experts say you guys failed to provide adequate funding. Some say
adequate. I don't think tariffs are the right way to go. I think tariffs are basically taxes. And what ends up happening is you get escalating tariffs or escalating taxes. One of the reasons we did tax reform is to make it easier for businesses to keep manufacturing in America and exporting overseas. Because with taxes like tariffs, some companies make overseas in order to penetrate foreign markets. That's why we want to lower those barriers. There are unfair trading practices, no two ways about it, by other countries. I think it's in our interest to use other tools to go after those unfair trading practices to stop companies or countries from dumping, from cheating, from stealing, from doing IPR theft and the rest. But I think there are better tools than tariff increases. You mean the ruling that just came out this morning? I haven't. But we do expect full compliance very, very soon. And if we do not get that, then we're going to keep every single option available to us because, again, the legislative branch has a constitutional duty to do oversight over the executive branch. That is what we're doing. We have gotten more documents in the past week than we have gotten in weeks and months. So we've got a lot to sift through. And by the way, what you learn from the IG is what we are seeing in our investigation. Bias, we are seeing all of these things, and we have to run down every one of these leads so that we can bring transparency and accountability to the executive branch.
Have you had to hold the tool in the toolbox in terms of addressing contempt or other stuff?
I didn't want to go back. Madison, I'm sorry.